Halfway Inside Lacrosse here with Dan Abert at Maryland Stadium after #1 Albany's 11-10 victory over the Terps, who came in ranked #2. Dan, an epic comeback from the Great Danes. They only got goals from 3 players. Connor Fields, who went for 4 and 2, Jacob Patterson, the sophomore, who went for 4 goals, and Kyle McClancy, the senior midfielder. What did you make of Albany's comeback?
I think it started at the X with TD Earlin. In the first half, he was really getting dogged by Justin Shockey, and then he started building momentum in the third and the fourth quarter. I thought he had a knockout, and that allowed guys like Jacob Patterson, who really good player, but kind of gets the short stick, kind of gets that disrespect, to step up in this game, and I thought he played great.
Yeah, Earlin won the last 4 faceoffs and helping Albany with that comeback. At the other end of the field, Connor Kelly went for 3 goals and 2 assists, 5-point day for the Terrapins. Up next for Maryland, they head to Villanova. Albany looks to remain #1 against Vermont as they open America East play.
This is Thomas Casali from Syracuse, New York. Syracuse and Johns Hopkins have combined to win 21 NCAA championships, but it was all Johns Hopkins on Saturday, demolishing the Orange 18-7. Johns Hopkins peppered Syracuse goalie Dom Madonna with 46 shots, led by Cole Williams, who scored 4 goals. Johns Hopkins used a 5 unanswered goal run in the late second, early third quarter to break open a close game. The Hopkins defense was also impressive, causing 11 Syracuse turnovers, and goalie Brock Turnbull turned away 10 Syracuse shots to give the Blue Jays an impressive, easy victory in the Carrier Dome.
Hello everyone, this is Joseph Sanlaquito for Inside Lacrosse, coming to you from Princeton Sherrard Field, where the Tigers pulled off a 15-14 overtime upset over number 13th ranked Rutgers. The Tigers did it by overcoming a 14-10 fourth quarter deficit and also holding Rutgers scoreless for the last 9 minutes and 58 seconds of regulation. Princeton received 5 goals from senior Austin Sims, including the game-tying and game-winning goals, as well as 9 points from super sophomore Michael Sowers, who wound up with 3 goals and 6 assists. Again, this is Joseph Sanlaquito for Inside Lacrosse, coming to you from Sherrard Field, where the Tigers upset number 13th ranked Rutgers 15-14 in overtime. Thank you.
Notre Dame would defeat Denver 11-9 here in South Bend, thanks to 4 goals from Brett Leeson, 3 from Brian Costabile, and a pair from Mikey Drake. The Irish would get off to a great start, opening the game with 4 goals in their first 4 possessions, and would lead 6-1 after the first quarter. They would manage that in part by limiting Trevor Baptiste to just 15 of 24 at the face-off X, and were able to keep it loose and force him to win it back to set up their ride often enough to gain possessions for their offense. Defensively, 3 of the 9 goals that Notre Dame allowed from Denver were on the extra man. And they did a great job of winning their one-on-one matchups to largely limit the number of opportunities that Denver was able to come up with. Ethan Walker shot 5 for 5 on the day, scoring 2 of those 5 goals on the extra man. Denver would rally late, taking it from 10-4 midway through the third quarter to 10-9 midway through the fourth quarter. But Brian Costabile would give Notre Dame some breathing room, and their defense would be able to hang on to close the door.
Hey everybody, this is Jeff Shannon with Inside Lacrosse at Ridley Athletic Complex, just finishing up covering Duke's 13-9 win over Loyola. The Blue Devils were able to showcase their offensive strength in this contest, as midfielders Brad Smith and Peter Connolly each scored 6 points, all 4 goals and 2 assists. Joe Robertson, freshman attackman, also had a big game, adding 3 goals. The Blue Devils also did well at faceoffs, going 17 for 25 in the crucial stat. For Loyola, Jay Drapel and John Duffy each scored 3 goals, while Patrick Spencer added 3 assists. Duke returns to Baltimore next week to take on Towson, while Loyola heads to Navy for Patriot League play.
Hey guys, Dan Arestia here. I just watched Lehigh take down Army in a Patriot League showdown. Army had 2 early goals and some early success against the Lehigh zone, but Lehigh started winning ground ball wars and dominated the face-off X, and that was the key to a 4-goal run from them that stretched into the third quarter. Army would respond with a 3-goal run of their own that was kicked off with a step-down missile from Glesner. And to make it 6-5, Johnny Surdick de-sticks his man on the defensive end, picks the ball up, runs the ball the other way in transition, and it winds up in the stick of Glancy, who finishes low and away, but takes a nasty hit and would have to leave the game. After Glancy left, the Army offense never really got organized again. Lehigh's offense was triggered by Andrew Pettit, who had 5 goals on the day, including a nice post-up move where he finishes low and away for his 3rd, and that was the key to the victory. Army has a tough game coming up with Holy Cross, and they will look to bounce back. Look for Lehigh to start showing up in those top 20 polls. See you guys.
North Carolina's losing streak skids to 2 in a row as Hofstra got its biggest win of the season, defeating the Tar Heels 12-6. The Pride defense kept most of UNC's known threats off the scoreboard, as Chris Cloutier's 2-1 put him among 4 Heels to actually make the box score. Hofstra's Ryan Tierney had 2 goals and 2 assists, and Dylan McIntosh had a hat trick in the win. Virginia survived a shootout on Long Island 15-14 over Stony Brook. Michael Krause posted 10 points on 5 goals and 5 assists for the Cavaliers, and Doc Zaking canned 4 goals for the midfield. Justin Schwenk was a dominant 20 of 25 at the faceoff X. Connor Gripe and Tom Hahn each had hat tricks for the Seawolves. In a stout defensive battle, John Mazza's goal in the waning seconds of overtime lifted Towson over Ohio State 7-6. The seesaw game had the Tigers build a 3-0 lead, to then fall behind the Buckeyes 5-3 heading into the 4th. A late goal by Jack Jasinski looked like it might be the potential difference, but a transition score from Grant Malouf on an assist from Jean-Luc Chetner helped push the extra session. Sean Brennan was the real star of the game, though, making 16 saves for Towson in a superlative effort that kept them in the game. Those that haven't boarded already may want to buy their tickets for the Robert Morris bandwagon, as the Colonials throttled Marquette 12-2. Ryan Smith and Matt Schmidt led Bobby Moe with 2-1, but 10 players contributed points. Alex Hager had 12 saves in the impressive defensive effort. Colgate got back in the win column with a 16-9 victory at Boston U. Griffin Brown led the way with 5 goals, and Joel Delaney had a hat trick and an assist. Colin Orr was a strong 20 of 28 at the faceoff X. Chris Gray's 3-2 led the scoring for the Terriers. Binghamton got their first win of the season, and it was a big one, 8-7 in double overtime over Delaware. Sean Gilroy had a hat trick, and Will Talbot-Shear had 2-1. Kevin Carbone made the biggest effort, though, with 14 saves in the win. The Blue Hens' Matt DeLuca was no slouch, though, posting a dozen saves of his own. Bryce Reed had a hat trick for Delaware.
Thanks for checking out the Epic IL Game Day Recap. Make sure to check out InsideLacrosse.com today, throughout the rest of the week, for all the scores, stats, and stories from the world of college lacrosse. And check out Epic Lacrosse for the latest and greatest in goods from our friends from Minnesota.